I'm standing here staring at this box that proudly declares that it was tuned by Squiglink, and I can't help but wonder what that even means. It's like buying a sandwich that says, assembled by Greg. Who's Greg? Should I trust him with my lunch or my ears? Maybe he's a visionary, maybe he just needed some rent money. Apparently, this little object was co-developed by Mark from Superstar Reviews, the guy behind Squiglink, which sounds less like a brand and more like an indie video game you play at 2 AM when life feels like a poorly tuned instrument. People just love talking about frequency response curves, those sacred squiggly graphs that promise to reveal the soul of sound. But in reality, they just tell you how loud it gets at a certain frequency. It's just basically data with a God complex. Sure, it matters, in the same way that flour matters to a cake, but it won't tell you if the thing tastes alive or if it makes you forget briefly that the world is ending in slow motion. Marketing this as a feat of tuning artistry is like bragging that a car actually has 4 wheels. True, but not really inspiring. The real question is, does it make you smile on your drive home after another thoroughly average day? Welcome back. Today we are looking at the Juzear Harrier. If you're watching this, odds are you're putting off something much more important, and that makes the two of us. Unboxing. The packaging doesn't pretend to be luxurious. It just hands you the thing and says, here, make of this what you will. It's refreshing honest, like a friend who lends you a book instead of telling you to check out their podcast. There's a sheet of tracing paper over the earphones, adding just enough mystery to make you feel like you are unwrapping a secret instead of a product. And beneath that lies a small collection of ear tips, a total of 4 varietals, like a buffet of ways to block out the world. Foam, silicone, narrow bore, wide bore. Choose your method of silence. They even give you quite a nice case. A full leather case, soft to the touch with a nice magnetic snap. It passed my durability test flawlessly, which consisted of dropping it on the floor. Gravity still works, always nice to confirm that. The build. Aesthetically, it's kind of beautiful. The outer shell plays with light like it's auditioning for a jewelry commercial. Black body, Squiglink logo, Harrier stamped confidently on the side. It knows exactly what it is, which is more than I can say for most people. Inside is apparently a small city of drivers and doodads, tiny machines pretending to cooperate. Yet somehow it all kind of works. It's light, it's comfortable, and it stays in your ears long enough for music to become a kind of background therapy session you didn't realize you needed. The cable, some alphabet soup methodology with a texture you might describe as surprisingly competent. It doesn't tangle, it feels premium in that quiet, understated way, like it knows that it's good and doesn't need to tweet about it. So how does it sound? Pretty good actually. The bass hits confidently without being obnoxious, the mid-range, delicate, nimble, and even emotional on a good day. Vocals feel close, like somebody gently explaining your own thoughts back to you. The treble goes high enough to keep things awake, but never punishes you for turning the volume up. It's a relaxed listen, balanced, unhurried, and not sleepy. The kind of sound that settles in with you rather than fading into the background. There is enough openness for everything to breathe, yet it never shouts for your attention. It simply exists, content in its own calm, like sunlight on a quiet afternoon. Technically, these are very decent, with good resolution and a sense of composure that doesn't draw attention to itself. Bass. The bass on the Harrier is precise, measured like a heartbeat at rest. Sub-bass has presence and texture, while the mid-bass lends its punches with confidence but without drama. The tuning keeps things controlled, just restrained enough to sound intentional. There is no messy spillover into the lower mids. Everything stays in its lane, clean and organized. It is fast, resonant when needed, and textured enough to give drums and bass guitars the weight they deserve. It doesn't show off. It just reminds you that sometimes less noise means more impact. Mid-range. The mid-range has that rare quality of being clear without feeling clinical. Notes have a bit of warmth like light filtered through old glass. No mid-bass bleed here, just proper separation, breathing space, and a sense of calm confidence. Vocals are forward but not in a way that feels demanding. They simply exist, steady and present. Upper mids rise smoothly, giving female vocals a kind of sweetness that is so delicious. Instruments feel well placed, articulate and delightful, especially when the arrangement isn't trying too hard. The Harrier excels when the music slows down enough for you to listen, not just hear. Treble. Treble extends gracefully, never sharp, never smug. It's detailed without being exhausting, clean, crisp, with just enough sparkle to make cymbals shimmer instead of hiss. The overall tone is balanced, not bright, not dark, just believable. There's a touch of air, not quite endless space, but enough to remind you that the room has walls. Considering the price, that's more than respectable. Soundstage. The stage is wide and open enough to let sound breathe. There is decent height and depth too, a sense of layering that makes everything feels more intentional. Positioning cues are confident, help along with that well-controlled bass foundation. It's not a concert hall, but maybe that's the point. It feels more like being in a comfortable, well-lived-in room. Next, some comparisons against the DUNU DN242, which sits at a similar price. The Harrier holds its own. Both are tri-bridge sets built from small miracles of over-engineering, but they take different approaches. The DN242 brings a touch more sweetness in the mid-range and slightly higher treble reach, but the Harrier counters with better control, a more grounded presentation. It's like comparing two people telling the same story. One flourishes ahead, the other simply smiles and keeps talking. Both are balanced, both are competent, and either could be your favorite depending on which kind of day you are having. And finally, ratings. Overall, I enjoyed my time with the Juzear Harrier. I give it a strong B+. It delivers a mature, satisfying tonal balance that plays well with all kinds of music. The dynamics have enough life to keep you engaged without ever getting in your face. I am honestly not completely sold on the aesthetics. The flashy resin design feels a little too, look at me, but functionally it's excellent. It's a well-tuned set, thoughtful, unpretentious. The kind of thing that doesn't need to dazzle you to prove that it belongs. It reminds me that sometimes good things don't need to shout. They just show up and quietly do their job, waiting for someone to notice. And maybe that's what I like most about it. It's not really chasing perfection, it's content with resonance, like a song you half remember from a happier time, or the way sunlight sits on your wall at 4 PM and tells you life is short. But maybe that's fine. Thanks for watching the Super Chunk Super Audio Show. Please like and subscribe, not because it will change the algorithm, but because it's nice to believe we are both still trying to connect with something gentle in a world that mostly isn't. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.